And joining us on the line, it's a great welcome to Flow. We have got Shea Fisher. G'day, Shea. How you doing today?
I'm good. How are you? Thanks for having me.
It is excellent to be chatting to you. And do you enjoy speaking to us back here in Oz from time to time? Do you get a little homesick?
Oh my gosh, yes. Especially right now with not really being able to come home. It makes it even worse. Knowing that you can't come home makes you miss it so much more. I know that we could come home, but quarantining in a hotel room for 2 weeks with kids and family just seems a little much right now. But we keep checking. As soon as those borders open, we will be the first people on a plane to come home. I have 2 little girls as well, and my kids ask all the time, when are we going to go back to Australia? I want to see the beach.
Yeah, can understand that. Certainly can. But just on that, how have you and the family been coping with COVID over the last 12 months? You're doing okay? Have you survived it all right?
Yeah, honestly, truthfully, I'm in Texas right now, and Texas it's like it doesn't even exist. The state is completely open. No one wears masks. And even in Texas, there's just not many people vaccinated. It's very much like it doesn't exist. And then you travel to other states, and you're like, oh my gosh, it's complete lockdown still. So it's just a really, it's just kind of interesting because, like I said, where I live, you don't even COVID's what? Like no one even people know about it. People have had it, but it's just not an issue here in Texas right now in comparison to some other states. People are playing. Just went to Miranda Lambert show a couple weeks ago and sold out crowds, no masks, full capacity. Like people are really starting to tour over here again, and events are starting to happen, big rodeos and so forth. Which to me is a relief because it somewhat feels like we're getting back to normality. There's still definitely some states, I'm sure it's like Australia, that are just shut down and locked down, but thankfully I live in one of the ones that are not.
Yes, it's a thing that has been affecting everyone wherever they are. I've spoken to artists in the US and also in Canada and the UK, and it's different but kind of the same. And the one thing all of them do, and everyone wants to go and perform. We just want to get back to doing what we were doing, which we love doing, getting on stage. So how much are you missing being on stage?
A lot. A lot. I'm trying to spend the time writing songs and doing other things to keep my time occupied. But it is challenging. And, thankfully I have other companies and other businesses that are able to bring in money because I know a lot of artists, that's their living. If they don't play shows, they don't make any money. So, people in the entertainment industry are some of the people that have been hit the worst. But it's even like my husband, he's a professional rodeo athlete, a world champion rodeo athlete. Last year, the rodeos, we still had a national finals, but the rodeos were maybe a tenth of what they normally are, and that was challenging. This year, they've all started to open up again. He's able to go and hit the road this summer rodeoing because they are in the states that aren't affected. Whereas, as a musician, there's still limitations in what we can do right now. But it's a time to embrace other things and focus on songwriting and just other ways to grow your brand.
You mentioned your hubby there, a champion rodeo champion, and I'm just sort of wondering, so when you first met, were you attracted to his accent or was he more attracted to yours?
I don't know. I think it was a two-way street, honestly. I don't know. He always says, he's like, because I was just before we got on this interview, I was telling you, it's hard because my Aussie accent comes in and out, but that's because being in Texas, they don't understand me if I talk with my Aussie accent. So I can't go to a drive-through and order food and things like that. So you just have to start to speak with a bit of an accent so they understand you. But my husband always gives me a hard time and says, where's that Australian accent? I fell in love with that Aussie accent. And I'm like, it's still here. You're the one that's teaching me this American slang. So, it's a good mix. He loves Australia. He'd move there in a heartbeat, and I grew up rodeoing as well, so I get what he does and he gets what I do. So we definitely complement each other. And it is nice that my husband does love Australia because, it'd be nice to be able to retire there and come back with the girls. We love to come and visit when we can. Yes,
I'm sure that he would love to get back here, and that it's just fantastic. I just sort of wondered about the accents, having spoken to a girl from Alabama once, and I just love that southern drawl, and Yeah, I just said, could you just read this menu? I don't care what, because I just love that drawl. And she was going, well, she was asking me to do the same.
Accents are definitely something that sets you apart. That's why I definitely don't try to lose my Australian accent because it makes me different over here. So that's definitely a plus. I definitely am an Aussie, and people say, well, you've been in the States for a long time and so forth. But, I mean, I spent most of my life in Australia. I grew up there. I've lived there my whole life. I always come home and do all my music videos in Australia, like the Don't Rush music video and then the song before, basically my last 4 music videos. I flew home to Australia to be able to do them and did them with Duncan Toombs, and it was neat because CMT here in the US was playing the last 2 music videos and having a Aussie music producer being able to have songs out here in the States as well was really neat. I've always told Duncan, I need you to fly over here next time and shoot the music videos. I was like, do you want to quarantine so we can shoot more music videos? Because I can't.
Well, his videos, and we're talking about Duncan from the Filmery, they are so good. And every time I see someone that's used him, you've got a brilliant product, one that you can just sit back and just watch from go to woe. So he does a great job. And I'm looking at your video right now. It's playing on my little screen here, and that for Don't Rush. And so that was filmed back here in Australia, was it?
Yeah, it was filmed on the sunny coast, Sunshine Coast, Queensland, where I grew up, actually. It's really neat because that was one of the beaches I grew up on, and a lot of the actors in it, like the old couple, and just the different people, like the old couple in it was actually my high school athletics coach. And the young couple that are the main actor and actress, they were Sunshine Coast people as well. So it was really neat to be able to do it where I grew up with an Australian producer with my family as well. It was neat, and then to have them play it here in the US was even cooler. But I'll have to send you. I did a commentary for CMT talking about the music video and how it came about and all the different locations in it. I'll have to send it to you. And
yes, please.
If you guys have social media, you can put that for your followers to watch. It's really neat when I explain kind of behind the scenes of how it all came about.
Oh, that'd be great to watch and great to find out more about. Because the other thing I wanted to ask you was the wedding day scenes. Was that actually your wedding footage?
Yep. So we pulled actual wedding footage, and I did get married in the US, but one of my bridesmaids was an Aussie, and her husband was did film. So he shot the wedding footage as well. So not only was the wedding footage done by an Aussie, the music video was done by an Aussie, and it was shot in Australia. So I love that about it.
Yeah, it is a beautiful clip, and I'm enjoying those scenes, and especially the beach scenes at the moment because I miss the beach, but that's another story. One of the lines in the song, Shea, that I like, we need to find a way to make it last. We're never going to get it back. And we're talking about your song, Don't Rush. And that line, when I heard it, it made me stop a bit and think of some times with my wife and I that there were moments I wish we could have that's where time could stop in them. But obviously it moves on and all that. And it just made me think about a lot of those moments and just going back to them. So I just thought it was a beautiful line from the song.
Thank you. Yeah. No, when I wrote this song, it was a long time ago. It was before I, was even really dating my husband seriously. And I wrote it with a fellow Aussie, Phil Barton. He's had some number ones in the States now. And then a lady named Emily. And we were all kind of at the same point in relationships. It was about... We were kind of all at the point in relationships we were sick of just dating to date, and it was just, we weren't in good places in relationships, and then we all ended up finding somebody, and it's not even a relationship though, because even day to day, especially now, you look at COVID and things like that and how we're limited. I took a lot of things for granted 2 years ago. Like small things we were able to do, back in the days going to stores without masks and not having, just a lot of crazy things we took for granted. And I think that even COVID stuff has made everyone sort of sit back and be like, wow, I really appreciate these moments. And then even moments with the family. I mean, that's the thing, because times may be hard in a certain phase of life and you just I just want to move on to the next stage. But you don't get that stage back. So, and especially in relationships, I always tell any of my younger friends, enjoy each stage, because you're going to get past that stage and wish that you could rewind time. There will be, like you said, there's times that you wish, oh man, I wish I could rewind and go back to that. Why did that have to rush so fast? So I know that's what my husband and I did. We just really enjoyed each stage of our relationship. I was that girl that took 9 months to give him my phone number and then, a year to go to dinner with him. But we took each stage slow and really formed a great friendship, and it's one that'll last. So I definitely, I also love the message of the song, and I love when I hear my young girls singing it and stuff, because it is one of those songs I haven't released as an artist a whole heap of ballads. My stuff's been more fun and party and have a good time, but I did love being able to show that there's more to it than just the one side.
And it's a brilliant message, and I think for anyone in any relationship, there are times it doesn't all have to be at 100 miles an hour. Slow down, take a breath, and enjoy each other's company and each other for who you are. And it is a really important message there. And it was just thinking back at some of those moments, and you just like to go back to them, and you know what's going to come out of a result of it. But they're just special moments that just live with you, that mean nothing to anyone else, but they're something special to, I guess, for us and for you and your husband as well.
Yep, some of the smallest moments are the ones that you relive again in your mind.
Well, Shea, what's coming up with you? I know you'd love to get back here to perform for people and be at Tamworth and other gigs and all that sort of thing, but what about for you where you are at the moment in Texas? Are you going to be releasing some other music? Will you be doing any shows? Is there an album? What's going on?
Yeah, and even in Australia, I made a decision. I took a few years, I wouldn't say off from music, because I was always writing songs and doing stuff, but from releasing. I didn't want to release songs if I wasn't at a point I could focus on music, and just with family and having children and so forth, I just wasn't quite at that point. And then when I decided, it's time for me to get back in doing what I love to do and my passion, I didn't want to just release 1 or 2 songs. So I do, yes. I actually have a whole album sitting there ready to release. So I do have more singles to come. After Don't Rush, I will just continue to release probably 2 more singles before we put the album out, but not just here in the States, in Australia as well. But I'll start to give some people some little snippets of the songs coming up. I'm excited about the new music. It's definitely been a while since I've had an album out back home, but I really, honestly, until we can come home and I can tour, I probably won't release the full album. I'll just release some singles. But fingers crossed, we're able to get home in the next year or so that way we can do some touring, because that was the plan, to come home and do Gympie and, Danny and all the CMC festivals they had back in the days. But, it's a different time. You just have to, rearrange. But yes, we're definitely doing stuff here in the States and staying busy. But that's why social media is such a great platform, because even though we're half a world away, I feel like I can be right home in Australia and keep up with my Aussie fans and friends.
Have you been driving with the kids and one of your songs has come on the radio and you've turned it up?
Oh yeah, my girls love it.
They do? I was talking to an artist. I was talking to an artist recently, and he said that his song came on the radio and he turned it up, and his daughters in the back seat said, "Dad, can you turn that down, please?" And he felt so shattered.
Gosh. It's funny because if I take my little girl, she's in kindergarten, and when I take her to school, she's like, "I want to listen to mummy music." So she makes me turn on my music, and it's like stuff from back. My first song in Australia, Just Excuse and Everyday Girl. It's like old school music of mine, and I'm like, how do you even know these songs? I'm like, I didn't even remember playing these to you. But she's like, I want the girl one, and then I figured out she meant Everyday Girl. But it's pretty funny that they just know your music, and I'm sure they do. Some days she tells me to switch it off, but most of the time she's pretty good. My little girl says she wants to be a superhero, a singer, and a mum. So we'll see.
Well, it sounds like you're being a very positive role model for her right there, so good on you.
Well, I hope so. Some days, probably, like anyone, some days probably aren't as good as others, but we try.
Exactly. Well, that's all you need to do is keep trying. Well, Shea, it has been an absolute pleasure chatting to you. I'd love to keep chatting about other things, but we'll leave that for another time, because I feel with some more music coming from you, we'll be able to have a further conversation later in the year. But it's been great chatting to you. Thank you so much for spending time with us. We've got your song here ready to go. If you could please introduce it for all our Flow listeners.
Of course. Yes, this is Shea Fisher, and you're listening to Flow and my brand new single, Don't Rush.
Lying next to you, the way lovers ever at your touch. Oh, I want so much to spend all night in your arms, but we've got time, so don't rush this moment. Let's find a way to make it last, 'cause we're never gonna get it back. Hold on, slow down. Boy, I got a feeling this might be love, so don't rush. We could hurry up, lose the best of us, and move on with our lives. Oh, baby, we could wait, just anticipate, get lost talking all night. We've got time. Don't rush this moment. Let's find a way to make it last, 'cause we're never gonna get it back. Hold on, slow down. Boy, I got a feeling this might be love, so don't rush. Beautiful innocence, falling with the sweetest kiss. We've got the rest of our lives, so don't rush this moment. Let's find a way to make it last, 'cause we're never gonna